Happy Canuary! Yes, this is Canuary 2023. And this is a brainchild of Leisa at Suttons Daze. And she always gets a great group of canners together in January. And we all provide fantastic recipes, be it jam and jellies, or soups, stews, meat, you name it. You're going to find some terrific recipes this January. And I have a listing below of all the channels and their links, and I urge you to subscribe to everyone so you never miss a Canuary video. And something extra I want to say is that Leisa, very generous person, is giving away a Presto canner at the end of this.
Oh, but wait, there's even more. 4 Jars has agreed to sponsor a giveaway for Canuary. So in addition to that Presto pressure canner that Leisa is buying and giving away, 4 Jars has agreed to donate an all-American 21-quart canner with 204 jar lids. I mean, that canner alone is worth over $400. That's first prize. Second prize is a gift bag with goodies and a $100 Visa card. And third prize is a gift basket with goodies and a $50 Visa card. I mean, how great is that?
So make sure you're watching every single video and commenting on them. It's really important. So today, again, I feature a recipe here. It is pressure canning for beginners and beyond by Angie Schneider. Here we go. We're doing the meatball bean soup with greens. Doesn't that sound good? Now this is a great recipe to make in the summer or the end of fall when you are growing your kale, so you can preserve some of it in this soup. And when I originally saw this recipe, it said it made 14 pints or 7-quart jars. Now when I make a new recipe, I always like to try it first before I have, 14 pints on my shelf. So I am halving this recipe and only making half. So in that case, I should be getting 3 quarts and 1 pint. But the recipe that I'm listing below and the ingredients I'm showing you right now are for making a full recipe. So you want to have 2 pounds ground beef, 2 cups chopped onions, 4 cloves garlic minced, 1/2 teaspoon dried thyme, 3 teaspoons, well it says non-iodized salt, but I always use iodized salt and it is fine. 1 teaspoon ground black pepper, 1/2 cup dried cannelli or white beans, 6 cups beef broth, 1 quart water, 1 tablespoon red wine vinegar, 1/4 pound chopped kale. And you want the ribs removed, or you could use spinach, and 1 teaspoon crushed red pepper. I should mention the link for purchasing this book is down below. I have canned a lot of great recipes from this book. I always do a taste test at the end, so at the very end you'll see what I think of the taste of meatball bean with greens soup. First, you want to prepare your dried beans. You could soak them overnight, but I'm using the quick soak method. I've rinsed the beans and put them in a pot with about 4 cups of water and brought it to boil for 2 minutes. And then I removed it from heat and I'm letting the beans soak for 1 hour. Now while those beans soak, preheat your oven to 350 degrees and start heating up your pressure canner with the amount of water recommended by your manufacturer. And add your canning jars so they'll be nice and hot when you fill them. Let's prepare your kale. My kale in my garden late fall looked like mini trees because I kept picking off the lower leaves and they kept growing taller and taller. So you're going to want to take your kale and make sure it's all on one side here, and you're going to want to cut off the rib. You don't want the rib. That is just too tough. Okay. And then just cut through the kale. Just want pieces of it. And of course you washed your kale first. It takes about 4 to 6 large leaves of kale to equal the 4 ounces needed for this recipe. For your meatballs, we got to mix up the ground beef, the onions, the garlic, the thyme, pepper, and only 2 teaspoons of the salt. And using clean hands, mix well until all ingredients are blended. I'm using a tablespoon measure to help me form these meatballs. They need to be about 1.5 inch in diameter. So I'm rolling the meat into a ball in the palm of my hands and placing the meatballs on a baking sheet covered with parchment paper. Once you have all the meatballs made, place your baking sheets in the oven and bake for 20 minutes. While your meatballs are baking, we want to drain our soaking beans and cover them again with fresh water and bring to another boil. Then we remove them from the heat and drain once again. And we place these drained beans in our stock pot. To the beans, we're going to add the broth and water, the rice vinegar, the kale, and the remaining 1 teaspoon of salt and red pepper to the stock pot. We're going to bring it to boil over high heat and then reduce the heat to a gentle boil and boil it for 5 minutes. Now it's time to fill our jars. We want to evenly distribute the meatballs in the jars. Once we finish that, then we're going to fill each jar with the broth mixture, leaving a 1-inch headspace. Be sure to debubble all your jars. If when you debubble, your headspace has changed, if you don't have enough broth, just add boiling water. Now wipe your rims well, add your lids, and finger tighten rings. And place these jars in your canner. Okay, we have steam coming out of here. We're going to set a timer for 10 minutes. Okay, that steam's been coming out for 10 minutes. Now I'm going to put it on 10-pound pressure weight because that's what I use where I live, but you have to use whatever is indicated where you live. And now we're going to wait until this starts jiggling. I'll be back. Okay, we're jiggling. We are going to set a timer for 90 minutes while we process. And it's 90 minutes because we have pork, but we'll leave 75 if you have time. Okay, I turned it off. It's been 90 minutes. We're going to wait until our gauge goes down to 0. Here they both are. The lids have already sealed. We'll wait 24 hours, write on name of the soup and the date they're canned. And then take the rings off and put them on our pantry shelves. Now time for the taste test. Will I like it? Will I can it again? Okay, let's open the jar. Ooh, did you hear that? Yep, very good. Looks good. Let's pour it in here. Now I'm going to bring it up to boiling for a while on the stove, and then I'll be ready for a taste test. Greens. And some of those nice meatballs. A little more broth. Now we're going to let that cool just a minute, and then I'll do my taste test. Just a little of the broth. It is really, really high yet. Pretty good. Not too salty. Can taste just a little bit of the pepper, I think. Let's try it with a piece of. I think it's really nice that the meatballs stayed together. It didn't become mush. Hot. Very good. A little of the bean there too. Very hearty. Better take a little of our kale too, which not my husband's favorite. I like kale, but he'll eat it in something like this soup. Definitely a hearty soup. My husband will love this because it has the meatballs, right? It has a lot of meat. Now, she said in the book that if you wanted to, you could thicken it a bit, you know, with cornstarch or flour, but I'm not sure why, because it's supposed to be a soup, not a stew, but do whatever you'd like. So, I recommend that you try this recipe for meatballs, bean with greens soup, but definitely a keeper. It is going on my pantry shelves. So I urge you, remember, check out all those Canuary videos, comment so you might win a pressure canner from Leisa at Suttons Daze, and enjoy Canuary. As always, please subscribe and share the knowledge. Bye.